CH250 front suspension is a trailing link design with an anti-dive feature. This type of suspension is called trailing link because the axle and wheel trail behind the control link. The simple and effective anti-dive feature minimizes front-end dive during hard braking. The brake backing plate is anchored to the torque rod, which is anchored to the fork leg. When braking torque is applied to the backing plate, the torque rod turns it into an upward force at the fork leg. This offsets the downward push caused by weight transfer during braking. Here, the suspension is at full extension. Notice the angle between the rod attached to the brake and how it points away from the perpendicular line, identified as P. This is the position of the suspension when there's no load and no braking force. Now, with the suspension at full compression, the angle changes significantly. This is how it would be under hard braking with a full load. Notice how the torque rod feeds braking force up into the suspension, extending it slightly. Certain parts of the front suspension require periodic lubrication. The pivot arm bushings, for example, should be lubed whenever the suspension is disassembled. And be sure to check your shop manual for torque values when assembling the suspension. Now here are some other important things you should know about the CH250. These two oil banjo bolts look a lot alike, but notice that their passages are different sizes. If they're interchanged, engine damage can occur. Just make sure the right bolt's in the right place. The black bolt goes here in the cylinder head, while the silver bolt fits here in the engine case. And always use new sealing washers during assembly to prevent leakage. Now let's look at the Elite's V-Matic automatic transmission. It's similar to last year's CH125, but not identical. The V-Matic is a belt-driven torque converter system with a wide range of torque multiplication for overall good performance. The drive pulley is on the end of the crankshaft, and the driven pulley is at the input of the final reduction. Because drive belt care is very important in the V-Matic, drive belt removal and inspection have been made easy. Here's what you do. First, fit the drive pulley holder onto the drive pulley. Then remove the pulley nut, washer, and pulley face. Now you can slip the belt off the driven pulley for inspection. Examine the belt closely for signs of cracking, separation, and abnormal or excessive wear, or thin spots like this one. Prolonged slippage usually causes this, such as when a rider uses the engine instead of the brake to keep the scooter from rolling backward on a hill, or by giving the engine throttle with the brakes applied. If the belt shows signs of excessive wear or damage, replace it. For these driven pulley bearings, the shop manual specifies a certain kind of lithium-based grease which isn't available in the US. However, equivalent lubricants that are available in this country are Stay-Lube MP3141 and Bel-Ray 126 Moly-Lube. One final note on the CH250. This heat shield behind the cam drive sprocket and drive pulley protects the crankshaft seal from heat generated by the pulley. If the shield is not installed after it's been removed during service or repair work, heat can cause the seal to fail and leak. Here's another new model, the CH150 Elite. You may recognize its roots in last year's CH125, such as its externally adjustable valves. But there are changes that affect your job. Let's see what's involved. Like the luxurious CH250, this innovative model has a trailing link front suspension with anti-dive, Oleo-Link engine mounts, and a maintenance-free battery. Engine displacement is 153 cc's. There are two models, a deluxe and a standard. The CH150 also features an easily tested charging system, and it's equipped with exhaust, crankcase, and evaporative emission controls. Displacement was increased through both a larger bore and a longer stroke. As a result, many internal engine parts are not interchangeable with the CH125. Also, some tuning specifications and fluid capacities are different too. So use the shop manual whenever you work on this scooter. This year there are two CH150 models, the Deluxe with a pop-up headlight carried over from last year's Elite, and the Standard with a fixed headlight. The pop-up headlight is described in the 1984 Scooter Update program. And you'll also be interested to know that the CH150's complete charging system can be easily tested while it's on the scooter. Here's how you check the alternator. Disconnect the regulator rectifier coupler. Pull the black wire out of the coupler and reconnect the coupler. Connect a tach and a voltmeter. Start the engine and measure the output. Your shop manual will tell you the right test values at different engine speeds. And the regulator rectifier here at the front is easily tested through the female side of the same connector. Here's another brand new addition to the 4-stroke Elite model line, the CH80. Though smaller, it's just as technically sophisticated as the larger models. Among its new features are an all-new air-cooled 4-stroke engine, leading link front suspension, and the maintenance-free calcium battery. First, let's look at the engine. It's a simple, rugged overhead cam design. But unlike the larger Elites, the 80 is air-cooled and has internal screw-type valve adjusters. Valve adjustment is easy. Timing marks are on the flywheel, on the same side as the camshaft sprocket. Be sure to check the shop manual for valve adjustment procedures and clearance. Now let's look at the CH80's front suspension. It's a leading link design, which means the axle leads or is located ahead of its control link. After you remove the wheel from the pivot arm, you can get to the bushings. Inspect them according to the shop manual procedure, and when reinstalling them, grease them and use new O-rings. Now let's look at the 1985 mb50 Aero. It's received changes inside and out this year, with improvements in both styling and performance. The 85 Aero gets a real boost in performance with an all-new engine. Few parts are interchangeable between the 84 and 85 engines. Bore and stroke, carburetor size, and many other dimensions are different. So if you have a parts question, don't guess. Use the parts microfiche. And while the new mb50 engine has some service procedures and tuning specifications that are the same as last year's Aero, others are different, so your shop manual will be particularly helpful here. Now here are some things to consider when servicing the Aero's new trailing link front suspension. Pivot arm service is essential for a smooth ride, and it's not difficult to do. The procedures shown here are very much like those for the trailing link 250 and 150 Elites. With the pivot arm assembly removed from the scooter, inspect the pivot arm, pivot bushings, and lower shock collars for wear or damage. When reassembling the pivot arm, install new O-rings on the bushings and grease them. Put new felt seals on the lower shock bushings and install the collars before installing the link in the suspension. Last, but certainly not least, is the tg50M. This unique three-wheeler raised a lot of eyebrows when it debuted last year as the Gyro. For 1985, it's been refined and given a new name, the Gyro S. The frame and bodywork have been redesigned, but this has no impact on service. The front suspension has been redesigned, and the axle is located in line with the forks. Be sure to check your shop manual for procedures and torque specifications when working on this unit. And check the new specification for parking brake free play. It's now 10 to 15 millimeters. The rear wheels are a split rim design with a bolt-on brake drum. Easy to work on and just another refinement for this model. Well, those are the new technical highlights for Honda scooters for 85. Some, like the CH250 Elite, are all new, with lots of great new features, like the heated carburetor and an air cutoff valve. And remember the Oleolink engine mount design of the Elite models. It's a motor scootering first, and it has service requirements that are different from what you're accustomed to. There's also the Elite's trailing link suspension, the increased displacement of the CH150, the leading link suspension of the CH80, a new, more powerful engine for the mb50 Aero, and all the other thoughtful features that make our lives just that much better when it comes to dependable, low-cost, stylish transportation.